Welcome in, guys. Happy Tuesday. See all the comments on the YouTube, on the Instagram. Appreciate you guys helping out with engagement. Like we said yesterday and all throughout the weekend. On Fridays, we'll be giving out $100 to those of you guys engaging in our content throughout the week. So keep liking, keep commenting, keep helping us out with that. Hang tight with us today. Fresh out of the dentist, got numb one side of the mouth. John's losing the voice, so we might be a broken band, but we got the still the best sports information you're going to find anywhere. John, we the one bet we gave out here yesterday, Cincinnati, we got rained out, and then we ended up with a loser on the White Sox. So 0-1 day to start the week, but we got 3 bets already out to members today and a pretty good card coming up on this Tuesday slate.
Yeah, I like what I see today. Yesterday, as Ben said, we sent out the Reds. That game was rained out. Be played today. They'll make up the doubleheader tomorrow. I'll tell you right now, we're coming right back with the Reds at a better number, even though Trout will probably be in the lineup for LA. Again, excuse the voice, guys. Yesterday, we added a bet. Look, we're all about information here. We tell you guys that all the time. So we actually blew 2 bets. We only had 1 bet, but we blew 2 bets yesterday due to injury lineup information. We wanted nothing to do with the White Sox yesterday, but putting together a possible letdown spot for the Mariners. Castillo hadn't been pitching well. And then you're taking the hottest hitter in the world right now out of the lineup. They rested Rodriguez. We thought it was worth a 1-unit bet. That game was over the first 4 batters into the game. So it's a quick death, and that's the way I like to die. Don't kill me slow. And then we were all over Diamondbacks. If you watch the podcast, you should have been able to tell we were leaning that way. It was Arizona or nobody. Once we got the lineup that Carroll would be out of the lineup, we laid off that game and got lucky. Marte hits the game-tying homer off Chapman in the 9th, and then they go on, win it in the 11th. So could have picked up a bet there, missed out on the injury info, and would have never been on the White Sox. But that's part of the game. We're all about information, so we take information right up until the game starts. So we'll take an 0-for-1 1-unit bet yesterday, our smallest bet. 3 2-unit bets today, and we'll tell you what they are. Let's get started, Ben.
Yeah, this top game on the card, Giants at the Phillies. Phillies big 10-4 win last night. Giants had won 9 of the prior 10 meetings. San Francisco now 3-9 their last 12 overall, 2-12 their last 14 road games. Just struggling right now. And Phillies with the pitching advantage today. It's Walker versus Harrison. Harrison making his debut. Walker hasn't been special lately, but decent. 7 runs in 12 innings, a lot of walks, 4 Ks, 7 walks, last 2 times out. Crushed by the Giants earlier this year. Couldn't get out of the first inning. Has been solid at home so far, 6-2, 3.11. Still has to have the edge over a guy making his MLB debut. We'll see how Harrison goes. This is a relatively cheap price here for Phillies. Looking at those 2 trends there for the Giants, just not winning games, not scoring, getting it done with the bats. Phillies turned on the bats last night. Will be a slight lean here to Philly in this one, but a game I'm staying away from. Walker hasn't been pitching well enough for me to justify this price.
So this is a slightly cheap price now because the Sharps have buried San Fran for the 2nd day in a row. We told you they buried them yesterday. They also buried the Tigers. 2 losers, 0-for-2. So when we tell you the Sharps are burying the game, doesn't necessarily mean they win. Hope you guys did take down the Sharp advice in the preseason football game. We told you guys about reverse line movement. The Sharps were on the Skins. The rest of the world was on the Ravens, and Washington gets a field goal to win that game. But getting back to this game, once again, Sharps coming right back with San Francisco. Harrison, the rookie for San Francisco, he's one of baseball's top pitching prospects. But this kid has a ton of command problems. He's completed 5 innings just once of 20 starts in the minor leagues, a 4.66 ERA, 1.53 whip, an impressive 105 strikeouts in 65 2/3 innings, but 48 walks. So just barely over a 2-to-1 K to walk ratio. Put that together with the Giants' numbers lately. They're now 3-9 their last 12 overall, 2-12 their last 14 on the road. They're scoring 2.8 runs per game their last 5. Philly crushing the ball now, scoring 8.2 runs per game their last 5. I don't know what the Sharps see in the Giants. my lean at this number, where I initially made it not as high, but at this number, lean would have to be the Philly.
Then we have a nice NL Central matchup. Cardinals at Pitt. Pitt gets it done last night. This is a matchup Cardinals used to own, but Pirates won 6 of 8 meetings this year, all 4 in Pittsburgh. Cardinals not winning, not scoring. They've lost 5 of 6, scoring just over 2 runs per game. Pitt, they won 2 of 3, scoring 6 runs per game. Bats heating up for them. Wainwright versus Oviedo. Now, Wainwright has just had a lot of success against the Pirates in his career, specifically in the last 3 to 4 years. Going to be his first start here against Pirates this season. He's coming off just his second quality start this year, both of them against the Mets. Prior to this quality start, though, was just brutal. 15 runs in 4 innings. Meanwhile, Oviedo, he hasn't been any better. Last 2 starts, 10 runs, 7 Ks, 7 walks, and 9 innings. 2 pitchers here not going well right now. This would be a lean to the Cardinals. I really don't want to back Wainwright, but considering Oviedo is just pitching that horribly right now, Wainwright, I'm going to give him just a little bit of hope there with the history success he's had against Pittsburgh, able to put together some good starts against the Mets this year, maybe something similar here with Pirates. Again, I don't want to back a cold Cardinals team that's 1-5, their last 6 barely scoring. Just dog price with Wainwright in this matchup specifically, a little bit appealing. So lean Cardinals, but a game to stand away from.
Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with the Cardinals. Cardinals now losing 5 of their last 6. They're scoring 2.17 runs per game. Wainwright, take out his performances against the Mets this year. He's got a 10 ERA. I want nothing to do with him. Oviedo, yeah, he got banged around his last couple of starts. The line movement tells you all you need to know. This game opened -130 on the overnight. Right now, you're looking at -131, 132. Barely a move in it. This is the right number. I'm not interested in this game.
When we have Mets at Atlanta, Mets get it done now last night. They've now won the last 2 meetings. Braves have still won 9 of the last 11 in Atlanta, and Mets continuing to play their best baseball of the season. 7 of 9 they've won, scoring over 8 runs per game their last 4. 4-1 on this trip, meanwhile. And then you have this Braves team. They had the 5-game win streak. They've now dropped the last 2. We'll see how much they regress. We've seen that with them. They've had their big wins in bunches. They win 9 of 10, and then they'll go drop 3 or 4 in a row. We'll see if that continues. McGill versus Elder. Elder coming off a bounce-back start, but against the ice-cold Yankees. I don't know if it means that much. And then McGill, last time out, 2 runs, 5 innings, 5 Ks, 4 walks. Doesn't have the best history against Atlanta. 2 starts this year, gave up 9 runs in 11 innings. Said it yesterday. I really didn't want any part of the Mets in this matchup. Didn't know if they could continue the good ball they were playing here in Atlanta, and they just kept it up. 10 runs last night, so we'll see if they keep it up here. Might see more of what we saw from Elder in the prior 4 starts than what we saw against the Yankees. Would be a lean here to the Mets in this matchup. Just feels like we missed the wedding yesterday. Don't want to be showing up for the funeral.
Exactly, my feelings exactly, and Sharp's coming right back with them. Game opened up -225. You're looking at anywhere from -210 to -215 now. So a little Met money showing up. Mets right now 4-1 on this road trip, but still just 3rd worst in the National League on the road. Tells you how bad they were after winning 3 or 4 at St. Louis and then winning the opener here. Had been terrible against Atlanta. Had lost, I believe it was 8 straight going into the last game that Sunday night at Citi Field, and then taking the Elder, who had a phenomenal start this year, has run into some rough patches. He's only had a couple of sporadic games that have been better. He is not a 2 and change favorite, and I can see why they're betting the Mets, but just no interest in a Met team right now. Although they are playing well, it would be Mets and nobody by the numbers, but I'll stay off. Don't see Atlanta losing 3 games in a row, 2 to the Mets.
And Marlins at San Diego. Marlins lose again last night. That makes it 4-17. Their last 21 road games. San Diego trying to put something together. 4-4, scoring 4 runs per game on the homestand. This matchup, though, all about the pitching stats. It's Luzardo versus Snell. 2 pitchers going completely opposite directions. Luzardo in August, 3 starts, 0-3, 11.68 ERA. Faced the Padres back in June, gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. He's been horrible on the road this year, 4.85 ERA. Then you have Snell going, who last faced the Marlins back in May, 6 shutout innings, and that was the start of this dominant stretch he's been on, 9-2, 1.26 ERA since then. Last 2, both quality starts. Still leading the league in walks, still giving up the free base runners, but he gets himself out of trouble. big price on the game. I don't make it this high, and I'm trying to convince myself that maybe Luzardo can show us what he was earlier in the season, make this more competitive. Just can't do it. What he's done lately, bad history on the road, bad history against San Diego, and Snell's been the most consistent pitcher in baseball the last 2 months. Can't get on this one. So this would be slightest of leans for the Marlins just from a price standpoint. I just can't argue it making a sense of them winning this game.
I feel the same. This money showed up for San Diego because, again, this is an overlay. And it's an overlay because just what Ben said, you get two pitchers going in totally different directions. To give you guys some sort of idea what Snell is doing, besides having a 1.26 ERA, and that only two pitchers have sub 3 ERAs this year, Snell and Steele. So just to get an idea, again, the pitchers that qualified with enough innings pitched. This shows you the class that he is in. Well, Luzardo was pitching really good, especially at home, but hasn't been good on the road all year. And in his last August starts has been absolutely brutalized. Put that together with how bad they've been on the road, and Arias, he leads Major League Baseball in hitting. He's going to be questionable. Just no reason for me to pull a trigger on the Marlins.
We have AL East matchup. Blue Jays going on to Baltimore. Blue Jays coming off a pair of wins against Cincinnati. They're 10-4 their last 14 road games. 1 game back at Seattle. And then you have this Orioles team 6-3 on their road trip there, coming off the sweep at Oakland. They've won 8 of 10 meetings this year, 2 of 3 in Baltimore. We'll see that continues. Pretty interesting pitching matchup. Kikuchi versus Rodriguez. Rodriguez really flipped the season around since being called back up. 3 of his last 4 starts, quality starts, 2.16 ERA. Last time out, 1 run in 7 innings versus the Padres. And then you have Kikuchi going, who has just been on a tear. 2-1, 1.19 last 5 starts, allowing 1 run or less in each of them. Last time out, 1 run in 6 innings there against the Phillies. This is a lean to the Orioles. You're getting a fairly cheap price with a team who's owned the matchup, the best team in the American League. So with that, it's a lean there. Got to see the question marks here. Guerrero questionable, Santander questionable. Really, those injuries, if they flip-flop, could switch me on to either side of this game. If Guerrero's in, Santander's out. We saw that last night with the Boston-Houston game, some injury breaks that went on after we recorded this. The initial lead on that game was to the Red Sox. Then you take out Duran, you take out Turner, you put in Tucker, and that just completely flips the read on the game. So that could be a similar situation here with Guerrero and Santander. Initial lean is Baltimore, though.
Yeah, Ben's described that perfectly because you get these two guys both lead their teams in home runs and RBI, so big bats in the lineup. Great pitching matchup. Kikuchi pitching his best ball of his career right now. And this kid, Rodriguez, we told you, we were on him since the Orioles sent him down. He was dominating back in AAA. Different pitches since he's back. 1-1, 2.16 ERA. His last 4 starts. Real good pitching matchup. Toronto needs this game a little bit more. Again, have to wait for those injury lineups.
And we have Mariners at White Sox. Mariners just stay red hot. Crushed them 14-2 last night without Rodriguez. 7 straight now. 17-3 their last 20. Just keep getting it done here. And then you have this White Sox team who's lost 7 of 9. 2 teams trending different directions. Mariners hottest team in baseball, but White Sox do have the pitching edge today. You're going to have Wu making a trip back from the IL. You guys know we like to go against pitchers coming back from the IL. And then we have Clevenger going. The last 2 starts, 1 run in 13 innings, been terrific. 2 starts versus the Mariners last year was beaten up, but he's been solid at home so far. 3-1, 2.00 ERA. This kind of has a similar feel to a series we had a few months ago. It was Baltimore coming in and Blues at Philly, and we were expecting the letdown in that opening game, and then they ended up winning that game, and then they ended up dropping the following 2. Kind of has that feel for me going into this series, and sometimes these reads kind of match up. We'll see if that's the case. But Rodriguez getting the day off last night to someone, if you're going to sit the hottest hitter in baseball, they might be looking to give some other guys some rest here on the back end of this run. And then you have a pitcher coming back off the IL. So just based off of that alone, the pitching edge makes me lean here to the White Sox. Do I want to take an ice cold team versus the hottest team in baseball? That's the tough part.
That's all right there. The number is obviously an overlay. Clevenger, forget Cease. Clevenger right now is pitching the best ball. He's the White Sox best pitcher right now. Wu is the worst pitcher for Seattle. Seattle might sit some guys, but they are on fire. White Sox now, they've dropped 7 of 9. just don't want to jump in front of that. Don't want to jump in front of that bus. Don't want to get hit by that Mariner bus. 17-3 right now. They're red hot. But the numbers say it's White Sox or nobody. We'll look to see where that line goes and what the lineups are later on today.
Red Sox at Houston. Stros get it done last night. They split the last 4 there in Houston. Boston snaps the 3-game win streak against the Yankees. And then you have the Astros here. They snapped a 3-game losing streak where they get swept by Seattle. You have Houck versus Verlander. Houck returning from the IL. And this is just a pitching mismatch. Verlander, he was roughed up his last time out. Prior to that, had a pair of quality starts. He's been a lot better at home this season. And, obviously when you have a pitcher trade at the deadline, the home changed a little bit. But Houston's more of a home than the New York is in the first place. So would be a lean here to the Astros. Fairly cheap price, all considered. The Sharps did beat this number down a little bit for Boston, and I don't really get what they're betting here with Houck any lower. I'm going to have to bet Verlander here at a cheap enough favorite. Houck wasn't good before his IL stint. Yes, his rehab starts were good, but obviously, like we just said with Woo, those first start backs usually look to go against him.
Yeah. The sharp money that was on the Red Sox yesterday, not as much today. They've absolutely buried it, and burying it on Houck, I just don't see it. Verlander, as you said, not a great outing his last time, but it's going to have a tremendous pitching advantage against Houck, just getting hit by the ball, coming back from the first time getting hit by the ball. The number may have been a tinge high to start with, a little bit of an overlay, but they've bet it down way too low. Again, we'll look for the lineups and where the line is more closer to game time.
The Royals at Oakland. How about Rooker with the walk-off homer last night and the battle of the 2 worst teams in baseball, adding some excitement to it. Still waiting on a pitcher here for the A's. It's Zerpa in the box for Kansas City. Only DraftKings with a soft opening line right now at KC, making them the favorite. If that's the case, might be interested in Oakland here. Got to see who the pitcher is. Yesterday, we talked about maybe laying Oakland as a favorite. We had dog money in this matchup. Zerpa's nothing special. Could be enticing. But really, it's a gross matchup. Probably better off just staying away from this game on this card.
Yeah. Yesterday, we talked about Oakland as laying the favorite and said this might be a game that you want to go under. Well, we were wrong on that one. That's a 6-4, and that's why I stay away from totals. These are 2 of your worst scoring teams. Kansas City scores the least amount of runs on the road. Oakland scores the least amount of runs in home games. Expect a little few runs to be scored again today, but we'll look at what the pitching matchups are later. Don't want anything to do with this game unless the line presents a big edge.
Then we have Rockies at Tampa Bay. Worth a look to the over in this matchup. Both offenses on fire right now. Colorado, obviously, you guys know the story with them as far as when they go on the road. The offense falls off a little bit, but on the homestand, 3-3, 8 runs per game, hitting .315. That obviously goes a lot different on the road. They're the worst road team in the National League. Then you have Rays coming off a split on the doubleheader. They went 4-2 on the trip. They were scoring over 8 runs per game. They're crushing .331 this week. Some of those numbers have been inflated from the big 18 runs they put up on that one game on Saturday. But nonetheless, 2 teams' offense is firing right now. It's Block going for Colorado. He's been decent, 3 runs in 11 innings versus Dodgers and Arizona, 2 top teams out there in the West. He's been decent against them. And Little really stepping up here as Rays have all their issues going on. 2.78 ERAs last 4 starts. Last time out, 2 runs and 5 2/3 for San Francisco. He gets the pitching edge. This is best home team in the American League versus worst road team in the National League. I really have a hard time making an argument here for Colorado. I'm not looking to lay this massive price with Tampa Bay, $250. They just get the news today. Franco's getting an MLB suspension. So it went from the Rays having their own team little punishments, and now it's an MLB suspension. This would be a lean here to the over, if anything. Just 2 offenses going well. Yes, Little's been pitching well. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that continue here with both these teams.
Well, I throw out stats for Colorado at Coors Field. They hit .315 over that last homestand, but on the road, they're 29th, scoring just 3.7 runs per game. So as Ben said, worst road team in the National League versus best home team in the American League. Tampa Bay, again, they seem resilient. They just keep getting hit. Lose McClanahan. They lost Rasmussen. They lost some pitching. They lose Franco. Turn around, a nice little West Coast trip. All of a sudden, just 3 games behind Baltimore. They'd love to catch them. They're still playing for wins. Colorado just playing out the string. Can't back them even at this huge number on the road.
Then it's Cubs at Detroit. Cubs get the win last night, 7-6. They've now won 3 straight. Again, similar price to yesterday's matchup. It has to be a lean to the Cubs in this spot. We're seeing just a team who's in the mix here in this wild card race versus a team who's out of it. Don't love backing Smiley here. You guys know how we feel about these pitchers. We get moved back and forth from the bullpen, back into the starting rotation. Brutal in his first 2 starts in August. Ended up giving up 12 runs in 9 2/3. They sent him to the bullpen for 3 outings, 3 shutout innings. That get him back on course. Maybe he's older guy's a vet. Maybe he's starting to feel the fatigue and the dog days. They needed to shorten up his innings a little bit. Who knows how it's going to affect him? It was Olsen last time out. He had 2 starts against the Twins. First one, 6 shutout innings. Second one, torched for 4 runs in 2 2/3. Not really a pitching edge either side here. If you want to give it to Smiley slightly for the track record, maybe you can. But this is just really a team edge here with the Cubbies. 1 3 straight in the mix of a wild card race would be them at a cheap favorite or nothing.
Now, as Ben said, this is similar line to yesterday, but this is similar line to after the Sharps opened up 145 yesterday. Sharps absolutely buried Detroit. They lost both their games that they moved 30 cents. That was the Tigers and the San Francisco Giants. This number to me now is the right number. Cubs have got to be a favorite, but you got Smiley, who was moved to the bullpen because he was absolutely awful his past few starts. Olsen banged out his last time out. Before that, had a real nice shutout, a 6-inning shut worth of shutout ball against the Twins. Still going to give Smiley a little bit of the edge here. Cubs, obviously, they score. Tigers don't. They're 29th in scoring. They score under 4 runs a game, Detroit. To me, the number's right. This game opened at $1.20. It's sitting at $1.20. There's been no movement at all in this one.
The Nationals at the ice cold Yankees. Nats coming off a 7-2 homestand prior to really this last month of stretch of what they've been doing at home games. They were a better road team. I don't know if we can still say that anymore, the way they're going lately at home. Still competitive on the road, though. 28-32 on the road. Yankees swept by Boston. They're scoring just 2.5 runs per game. They've now lost 8 straight, hitting under 200 this week. 2 teams going in opposite directions here, both technically dead as far as the season goes. Gray versus Rodon. Both pitchers been horrible. Rodon, another pitcher that we have today, coming off of the IL. Even before that, though, was just brutal. 9 runs off 4 homers, 6 2/3 against the Astros in Tampa Bay. And we'll see how he goes here against Washington. Gray's been brutal. His last 3 starts, 0-2, 11.12. 2 of those are home starts, and we all know the story with him. He is better on the road, 4-4, 2.82 in 14 starts. And in his 3-year career, he's already been better on the road each season. So pitching guys has to go to Gray here. I mean, just what he's done on the road. And then you have Rodon coming off the IL. How much of a leash is he going to have? Team edge is clear as day to Washington. Yankees couldn't hit themselves out of a boat. This has got to be Nats or nobody. Big dog price here. This is Rodon and Yankees in name in this price. I don't see how you can come up with them being this big of a favorite.
Absolutely. This is Rodon. This is maybe Rodon last year. Rodon this year hasn't had a quality start yet. Look, Gray, Ben said it perfectly. Last 3 starts in August, horrible. He's now 56 out of 59 eligible pitchers with a 1.47 whip. But this guy's a different pitcher on the road, has been each year of his career. Gray's been awful last 3 starts, but as I said, different pitcher on the road. Rodon, you have to have a quality start in his first injury-plagued year with the Yankees. Again, he's the 3rd pitcher today, going to start or coming off the IL. Washington bats red hot, hitting 296 over their last 9 games, and they're 4th, hitting 277 versus lefty pitches. Yankees don't have an offense. Yankees right now scoring 2.5 runs a game in this 8-game losing streak, hitting 188. And yes, that's with Judge. This is a terrible Yankee team playing out the string now. They've given it up. They're calling up 2 of their guys from AAA. They're sending up the white flag. They'll start playing some younger guys. Nationals are nobody.
Then we have Dodgers at Cleveland. Very interesting matchup. Dodgers, second, the hottest team in baseball right there with Seattle, 17-2 their last 19. They get the doubleheader sweep against Miami on Saturday. Bats have cooled off their last 4, though, scoring just 2.5 runs per game. Then you have this Guardians team who's the opposite. They've now lost 4 of 5. They're 8-9 at home since the All-Star break. They did win 2 or 3 meetings last year. Pitching matchup, fascinating. Miller, who's really stepped up for the Dodgers this season. I mean, first-year guy, and he's last 2 starts, 1 run in 12 innings, been solid on the road, 2.19 ERA in 7 starts. With all their pitching injuries, he has been a blessing for them. And then it's Syndergaard, a little bit of a revenge spot maybe for Syndergaard. Last start crushed for 6 runs at Cincinnati, but he has horrible road splits, so he's better at home. And one start against the Dodgers last year, 2 runs in 4 2/3. Weird game. The Dodgers, red hot, tough to go against, but don't like what they had schedule-wise. When you're a team, you have things going in rhythm, then you get the forced doubleheader on Saturday, bats cool off, then you have the weird travel with the storm and everything. Could be just enough there to kind of cool them off, set them off their tracks. We'll see if that's the case. Syndergaard and a revenge start, I think, is an interesting price here. Will be a lean to Cleveland in this one for me.
Sharps must think you got something there, Ben, because they're betting Cleveland, but they ain't getting none of my money. Syndergaard will not get any of my money against the Dodgers. Dodgers they're red hot. Sum up this game. The Dodgers lead Major League Baseball, scoring 5.88 runs per game on the road. Cleveland, 29th, scoring 3.52 runs per game in home games. Give Dodgers pitching advantage, give Dodgers every advantage. So the only thing that could hurt them would be the whole travel situation, the weather that they had in LA. But that's not enough for me to like Syndergaard, who we had on auto fade earlier in the season. I'll pass this one, but the Sharps did make a move on the Guardians. I think the Guardians are a dead team. I think they gave up at the trade deadline. Not interested in betting them now.
Then we have an interesting NL Central matchup, or NL AL Central matchup. The 2 division leaders in the Central, the 2 worst divisions, Twins in Milwaukee. Earlier this season, they had a meetings in Minnesota. Twins won both of those. Brewers won both in Milwaukee last year. I do not understand the price on this game. Brewers, better record, better team in the better division, getting dog money here in a matchup where there's not really a pitching edge either side. It's a couple of guys who are just in the middle of their rotation. I mean, obviously not Gray, not Ryan here from Minnesota, not Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, but in that middle pack of the rotation. Guys have been giving them some quality starts this year in Ober and Miley. Ober last time out, 2 runs in 5 innings. Miley was banged up his last time out, 4 runs, 3 earned, but at Dodger Stadium, the hottest team in baseball right now. So take that with a grain of salt. Had a quality start versus the Twins back in 21. This, to me, is just a dead even pitching matchup with the Milwaukee team who's better. A Milwaukee team plays in a better division, and you're getting dog money with the home team here. So this is Brewers all the way.
Yeah. This is another game that has moved from Milwaukee minus 120, which I thought was the right line. Earlier this morning, you had Minnesota as high as minus 115 favorite. I don't understand it. Minnesota is the only first-place team that has a losing road record. Not only that, but they struggle against left-handed pitching. I believe they're 29th in the league, hitting just 227 versus lefties. No big pitching edge here. Give me the home team, especially when they were a dog. We got Milwaukee.
And Reds at Angels, same pitching matchup we were supposed to have yesterday. The read does not change on this one, only the price. Mike Trout possibly to return today. We'll see if that's the case. Just too little too late there for the Angels getting him back. Ashcraft versus Giolito. Giolito's been brutal so far with the Angels. His 1 home start was a quality start. We'll see if that continues. He has great splits as far as home and away. Only 1 start, though, in Angel Stadium. Ashcraft, we talked about it. Terrific. 8 of his last 9 starts, quality starts. Last time out, 3 runs in 7 innings. Now their team playing good ball right now. Reds 5-12, their last 17. Angels 5-13, their last 18. Just a pitching edge here to Ashcraft. Dog money with the team who's in a wild card race versus an Angels team who's getting Mike Trout, 2 weeks too late.
Yeah. A rain out yesterday just makes it better for us today because it looks like Trout will play today. That's why this number has gone from the 135 overnight up as high as 145. Had to jump on Ashcraft. Trout hasn't played since July 3rd. This was a wrist injury. Maybe he comes back 100%. If he does, the Angels are still a dead team since he's still trying to get a wild card spot. Ashcraft definitely has the pitching advantage. Give me the road team, Reds, that have the 3rd best road record in the National League, still going for a wild card with the better pitcher as a dog against the dead Angel team. We like the Reds 2 units.
Then we had the best pitching matchup on this card. Rangers at D-backs. Last game on the card, it's Gray versus Gallen. Gray, last 2 starts back to form, 1 run in 14 innings. Gallen, all 4 August starts, quality starts, terrific at home, 10-1, 1.82. Total's interesting here. Very low scoring game last night, 1-1 into extras. We have a total here that's only a half point or half run shorter than it was yesterday, from 9 to 8.5. So that I don't disagree. I don't agree with. Definitely a lean to the under in this matchup. And I'm going to make this one very simple. Rangers, 5 straight losses, scoring 2.8 runs per game. Take the name out of it. Take the fact the second best offense in baseball. They had their road struggles, 5-10 in their last 15 road games. 5 straight losses. There's a pitcher who's 10-1, 1.82 at home. Give me the D-backs at a cheap price here.
And they're batting 164 over those 5 games, Ben. Texas just total fall off. Look, they've been great offensively all year. Right now, second in batting and runs scored. But if they were first for a while, they have fallen off mightily, especially on the road playing bad ball. Arizona, who a week and a half ago looked like a dead team, has turned it around. They've won 8 of their last 10. You've got the pitcher with the best record, best numbers at home in Galen right now. He's also tied for third in baseball in wins and 4th with a 105 whip. It's the D-backs and nobody. Look, we should have been on them yesterday. The injury lineups without Carroll kept us off. It's got to be Arizona or nobody. We'll see what that line is and the lineups later on.
Yeah, lineups, of course, always a big thing, guys. As you guys know, we're updating those and updating our members throughout the day. You can go get the How to Beat the Bookie app or sign up on howtobeatthebookie.com if you guys want to be updated throughout the day. Like we said, with both pitchers that haven't been listed yet in some of these games and some of these question marks and lineups, we'll definitely change our reads on some of these games like it did yesterday. Hopefully, we can get the week back on track at 4 straight winning days. The 1 loser yesterday, got that Cincinnati game rained out. And 3 bets already out for members and counting. If you guys want all of those, make sure you guys go to the website. John, I don't know if you have anything else here. I know you and I are struggling today. Yeah.
See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, let's make some money, guys. Best of luck.